Welcome back to the Switch Sports Golf Pro League. It is week 2, and after week 1, my team is in first place. With some solid rounds in the -20s from myself and my teammates, we are ahead of the terrific Tigers by 1 stroke. This is round 3, and there are 3 rounds out of the 8 possible rounds for each season that will count. So this one, for sure, for now, will count. We're going to try our best to set a solid baseline, and then over the rest of the season, try to improve upon that. We'll play the standard 18 all the way through, as we always do, and we'll see some tougher conditions here on the first hole, 11 miles an hour with that middle left pin. We'll end up with a kind of a weird setup where we're hitting kind of across the fairway. This makes this a little more crosswind. Let's aim it to there. We'll hit it with those 3 dots, and we'll see if we can try to sink this one. It shouldn't be too bad of a birdie. But there's always the chance for the make. Now, is it going to be good? That looks pretty good. Hang on. That might do it. We'll sink it along with a couple others. Zohan and I think Lloyd also chipped in. We'll see a bunch of tap-in birdies as well from the rest of the group. A couple other close calls that didn't quite fall. We'll see 3 eagles. So me, Lloyd, and Zohan will take the tie for first after the first hole. Everyone else is going to be 1 shot back at 1 under. We'll move on to hole 2 where we're going to see some wind. Looks like fairly strong wind as far as hole 2 goes. Yeah, 9 miles an hour, the second strongest wind speed. This one's kind of a tough one. The flag often gets in the way. It bounces up and sometimes catches the flag. We'll have to be mindful of that. Let's still use the 5-iron though. We'll try our best. Yeah, that's going to be the aim point. We'll hit it with about that much power. And let's see if we can really spin this and try to catch the ace here. Zohan has made the ace again. Zohan's off to a fantastic start here. Mine's going to take a decent bounce. That's a little too far though. It's not going to zip all the way back. Zohan is going to be at 4 under through 2, and there's the flag shot I was talking about in my intro. It just kind of blocks the shot sometimes and drops it right next to the cup. Ooh, we see a pin hit from Artie as well. So this is a tough one. Fantastic ace from Zohan, my Treemeister teammate. And we'll have a tap-in birdie for me there. Looks like birdies for the rest of the group as well. And my teammate's going to be off to a really, really solid start here. 4 under par through 2, an eagle on the first, an ace on the second. I'll be 1 shot back with Lloyd. We'll move on to hole 3. It looks like we'll see some stronger wind again, so not the easiest start to the seed here. Okay, it's only 4 miles an hour actually, and it's a pin that's not too bad. It's not my favorite, but it's not the worst. Let's try our best to put this in a spot where we can maybe sneak an eagle here. We can put that safely left of that huge tree on the right side. And we'll have a good look here to put it through those 2 trees and try to sink for this eagle. Let's aim it to there. That's going to be the aim point. We'll hit a full shot, full driver between the trees. That will end up, it looks like, in the bunker, and we'll have a pretty decent line at it. So the wind's going to be pretty purely crosswind. The green isn't going to move too much in either direction. We'll just have to give this a good guess and see if we can sink this eagle that way. Let's try about there for the adjustment, and for the power, just slightly less than 2 dots. Right about there looks pretty good. Let's see if we can sink this. This would be a pretty nice one. There's the shot. It looks decent, but not great. Oh, and it'll just miss. Just slightly over-adjusted for that light wind. We'll leave it right on the edge, and we'll have to tap in a birdie on the 3rd. Will we see any eagles? We will. Zohan is 3 for 3. And look at that. 6 under is going to be the leading score. 2 shots out ahead of everybody else. I'll be still with Lloyd at 4 under. Decent start for me. Great start for Zohan. We'll move on to hole 4 with 9 mile an hour winds. Not too bad here. Okay, let's aim this one to there. 3-iron's going to be the play. Slightly more power than I typically would. Ooh, Boogeyman has made the hole-in-one. Fantastic shot there. We've been seeing a lot of great shots in the early going of this round. Let's see. Oh, I barely snuck that by. Yeah, that's going to move back to the right, so that's not quite it. But really close call on almost a dunk there. That could have been really bad if that hit the pin or the lip or anything and went haywire off to the side or something like that. So we get fortunate to not have any sort of bad break there. We just kind of roll it back. We'll tap in another birdie. I think we saw... I'm not sure if it was just Boogeyman or if there was another ace there. It was indeed just the Boogeyman with the ace on that pin. Fantastic shot there through a bit of wind on that tougher hole 4. It'll now be a 3-way tie in second behind Zohan. We'll move on to hole 5, and we'll hope to see some decent looks at eagles in the rest of this round. This is kind of the stretch where, this is a tough one. 17 miles an hour in the face, back right pin. Not a great combo for scoring. Let's just hit 2 decent shots out there. The eagle opportunity on 5 doesn't really seem to be there, which is quite unfortunate. We'll just have to hit a full drive out there and try to put it close and save a birdie, most likely, on the 3rd shot. Tough look at hole 5. Pretty unfortunate to see this kind of condition in a round where you're just worried about pure scoring and not necessarily your score compared to the rest of the group. We'll put that out there. Wherever it is fine. Rough is okay. We may have to use like a 2-dot spin chip and just try to glide it up that way. Hopefully it works. We'll use the 5-iron for it, which feels a bit weird, but I think it's what we'll have to do. We'll hit it with about pin-high power and just try to glide it up there. So about that much, maybe slightly more than pin-high power is what we'll put on it. Let's see if we can spin this back and just glide it to a stop right around the pin. That looks pretty decent. That's going to do exactly what I wanted it to. So it didn't quite make it up there. It didn't zip all the way back. It was just a good leave, and that's really what you want when you see that tougher wind. Let's tap this little birdie putt up there. Pretty straightforward. We'll sink it. No issues there. So it'll be birdies for 6 out of the 8 here. Zohan with a nice chip will be at 8 under par through 5. I'll be 2 shots back with Lloyd and Boogeyman. We'll move on to hole 6 here. Looks like we'll see some wind and a pin that's not too bad. That's actually a pretty accessible pin. What kind of wind are we going to see? Light wind. So a good setup here as far as hole 6 goes. We can actually give this a decent look at trying to roll up an eagle.
Nice shot.
I'm going to use the strategy of putting it in the left trees. It looks weird, but it's a good way to do it. This puts you down safely in the rough, safely left of all the trees when in terms of the second shot. So we can aim this, I want to say, to there and then just like slightly to the right. Right about there should be decent. We'll hit it to about there on the power meter, I want to say. 194 yards is a decent length, so we'll put a little bit extra on it. We'll call it like 2.7 dots of power. That looks decent. Now, it doesn't look like it's on the best line. That may actually kick left with the way that... No, it doesn't. It kicks perfectly, and it will just miss. Oh, man. That's now 2 eagle opportunities that just ended up on the edge of the cup. Oh, I thought that was going to be slightly off. It took a pretty lucky bounce. And like I said, it was a chance at a make. It was a weird chance at a make. Oh, we did see an eagle. Boogeyman made it to pull 1 shot ahead of me now. So he'll be in solo second. I'll be in third with Lloyd. Zohan with a birdie maintains a 1-shot lead. Okay, we'll move on to hole 7. And after a nice first hole, it's just been birdies from here on out. We'll want to start trying to pick up the scoring. But it hasn't been the easiest in this game. You know, we haven't seen any 0 wind holes. We haven't seen very many light wind holes. We have a decent look here, though. We've put it right on the cup a couple times, just not quite in it. Let's aim this to there, and we'll hit it with about that much power to put it down towards the end of that short fairway. And that should be a good spot to hit a little backspin 3-iron from. Right about there, 190 yards is pretty good. It's a downhill shot. 9-mile-an-hour winds pushing to the right, diagonally forward as well. Let's aim this right about there, maybe. Oh, Art has made it. Fantastic shot to Art. Wow. What an eagle on this not super easy hole 7. I feel like we've seen eagles or aces on every single hole so far, which is... I mean, we're playing with a really good lobby here. That's the way that goes. Let's see if we can start pulling off what would be a couple of luckier makes. Here is an attempt at one that looks pretty good if it holds the green. Oh, it's just going to be slightly too far. It was on the line. Just a little bit too much juice on it. So we're right on it. Just slightly off. We'll have to see if we can start sinking some of these. Although it's not too bad when you're tapping in birdies on these conditions that are sometimes, you know, riskier. So that eagle for Art will pull him up to 6 under. No movement at the top of the leaderboard. It's birdies for everybody else. And Zohan's going to be at 10 under through 7. We'll move on to hole 8. Oftentimes one of the really tough holes in this game. It looks like we'll see some lighter wind. Ooh, but a tougher pin though. So, how do we want to handle this? Let's use the 3. We'll aim it to there. And with the 3-iron in this pin position, we'll want to hit it with like just a little bit more than 3 dots of power. Right about there looks pretty good. Okay, that's the exact shot I was hoping for. That should move to the right a decent amount, take a little bit of a kick to the right, glide back up that hill, move to the left. Oh, and it's just not quite enough. Really close call on what is oftentimes maybe one of the tougher aces in this game on that pin. We saw some wind conditions there where it was more doable, and we'll see one. We'll see an ace there from Lloyd. Fantastic shot to Lloyd, who will now pull into second place at least. I'll tap my putt up there. I'll sink the birdie, and a lot of birdies in a row for me. We'll see a birdie from Zohan. So a nice ace from Lloyd is going to pull him up to 10 under. Zohan will be at 11 under. Boogeyman with a par will drop back to 9 under with me. It's a solid start to this first round of week 2. We'll move on to hole 9, and it doesn't look very promising here. Stronger wind, just pure crosswind, 24 miles an hour is going to make this one a pretty difficult one. We'll just want to aim this safely out to the right. We'll hit it to about there. And that should just go left of that tree, and it should hopefully hold the fairway. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, that'll be safely in the fairway. And now we can just hook this second shot underneath the tree, and it's going to be a crosswind, longer third shot no matter what. Pretty unavoidable here with this setup. But we'll try our best. Let's just hit a little bit less than that full-powered hook shot, just to make sure that we're safe. No need to cut it super close to anything. Actually, could have gone quite a bit further, and we didn't get any sort of glide out of there, so that really just bounced to a stop strangely. Okay, now we have a much longer third shot here, which is not ideal. Perhaps I should have gone for that full hook. Yeah, that's the glide just to my right that I was going for, and it just bounced to a stop very strangely. We can still aim this a good ways to the right. We'll hit it with about that much power, and hopefully we can still kind of just bounce this one up there nicely. Yeah, there's the aim. Let's see, there's the power, I think. Hopefully that's pretty good. Let's see. Oh, that's going to move way too far left. That's going to take a big bounce to the left, and that's going to be a tough look. We're going to have a huge side hill putt here. All right, let's see if we can sink one. Really tough look here. We'll have to hit this with about 2 dots of power, I'll say. Just to send it up there, trickle it back down. We are aimed way up top. Hopefully this works. Let's try it out. Roll back to the right for me. Keep going. Oh, it's just going to be a little bit short of it. Ah, really tough break not getting that roll out and not making it down to the bottom of that fairway. And, you know, it was a misplayed shot, not hitting the full hook. But we end up with a couple bad breaks. We'll make a par on hole 9. There's a really good-looking putt from Boogeyman, who will sink it from a long way away on a pretty similar angle to me, way up to the top of that hill and rolling back down. Fantastic putt. So that'll push him 1 shot ahead of me. Zohan with a solid birdie and Lloyd with a solid birdie will be at first and second at 12 and 11 under. After what felt like a solid start, I just find myself at birdie golf, and that's not going to allow you to push into the 20s, which is where I'm hoping to be. We'll hope for a solid back 9. I mean, you never know what happens here. You can always put together a good score on the commonly more scoreable back 9 holes. Not the easiest start here with this kind of tougher look, wind in the face on a pin position that you kind of want to spin. But the 7-iron doesn't spin super well, and you have to use it here. So, weird look. Do we want to roll this up with the 9-iron? We may want to try that out. Let's see if that works. Let's aim it to there. We'll hit it with about that much power. And we'll see if we can roll this one up there. I think that's decent. Now let's see if it works. It's going to take a good first bounce, and we'll sink it. All right, much needed eagle on a tough look at hole 10. Boogeyman will sink it as well. Boogeyman is on fire here. Wow. Pushing towards the top of that leaderboard. So a much needed eagle will push me to 11 under. Boogeyman is going to join Lloyd at 12 under through 10. Zohan will be at 13 under. We're battling for scoring here. It hasn't been super easy. We'll move on to hole 11. And I'm really going to try to put together a couple eagles on this back 9 to see if we can push this round at least a couple strokes into the 20s. This is not quite the condition for it, though. 11-mile-an-hour winds, tough front pin, really tough look at trying to make the ace here, which is kind of what we want to go for. We'll give it a bit of extra power. We'll call it that much. Let's see if that works. Okay, that's the power I wanted. Ooh, Zen has made the ace. Great ace there. Mine is going to hit the top of the pin and bounce sideways. A little bit of a tough break there. If that snuck around, which, I mean, it didn't, and it's tough to say what would have happened if it did. Ooh, was that a birdie? It was a birdie. Okay. Sometimes it fakes me out when a shot that looks like it's backspinning falls and it ends up just being a putt. I'll sink the birdie, but Zen with a great ace will join Twilight, or Twy, at 11 under. We'll move on to hole 12 and hope to get maybe an opportunity at an albatross. Doesn't quite look like it. Yeah, kind of a tough pin. Crosswind. Tough look at an albatross. We'll see if we can at least put this close and ensure a tap-in eagle. I don't think I want to play this one super aggressively, but we may be able to go for that fuller 3-iron with some spin, and that may work pretty well. Let's see. Let's try it out. And we'll give this the full 3-iron and see where it ends up. Hopefully it's not short of the green. I don't think it necessarily will be. There's the full 3-iron. It's looking decent, but not great. Yeah, it kicks to the right. That'll zip back, and we'll be at a decent angle. Ooh, is that going to be an albatross? It will be. Lloyd, I believe, just made the albatross there. That was a fantastic shot. Really tough condition to make it. Lloyd pulls it off. Wow. I'll hit my putt up there with about a dot and a half, or maybe slightly less. That'll work. We'll sink the eagle. That'll be pretty solid for scoring. So Lloyd will pull up to 16 under with Zohan through 12. I will be at 14 under. Boogeyman is one shot ahead of me at 15 under. We've got Zen and Twy one shot back. And we'll move on to hole 13 here with some tougher looking crosswind again, but it looks like the pin's kind of okay. And it's actually only 2 miles an hour. Not bad at all. Let's aim this one to, we'll call it there. I'll use the spoon with about that much power. And hopefully that works pretty well. Middle of the second dot should be it. There's the shot I was going for. Let's see if we get the result I was looking for. That looks decent. It'll just miss on the high side, though. Barely missing that ace on what was a pretty makeable one. I mean, light wind is pretty doable there. We'll end up tapping in a birdie. So it'll be birdies all around. Clearly a pretty tough pin and wind combo to ace there. Nobody made it, and it feels like everybody, or at least somebody, has made something on every single hole so far. We'll move on to hole 14. It looks like we'll see some tougher looking wind. What are we going to end up with? 22 miles an hour, pushing straight across. Kind of a tough condition here. How do we want to handle this? I think we may want to go for the more aggressive play. I'm hesitant, but I think we'll have to do it. Let's try to send this one just into the trees and bounce it down nicely.
Nice shot.
That's going to be the initial aim point. That should move nicely left. Clip that big tree, and it should just drop down and end up in the fairway. It will. Okay, that ended up working out pretty nicely. We'll have a good look with the 3-iron to try to put this one close. We'll aim this one to there, and we'll hit it with, let's see, a little bit more than 3.5 dots of power, I think. This wind in the face is going to cause us to have to hit this one a bit further than I'm comfortable with, but let's try it out. About that much power. This may spin with the way it comes in. We'll have to see. Oh, that'll actually end up a little bit short. It'll zip back down, and that'll be a fine look at the eagle here. So a little under-adjusted for the wind, but that's all right. We'll end up with a straightforward look at it. We're on the green with a straight putt. When you're dealing with 22 miles an hour, that's often all you can ask for. We'll send it up there and sink the eagle on 14. So we'll see 6 out of 8 eagles there. Zohan is going to push to 19 under par through 14. Lloyd will drop 1 shot back. I'll be 2 shots back at 17 under. We'll move on to 15, and we'll see if we can finish this round solidly. It's been a pretty good back 9. I've made 3 out of 5 eagles on the back so far. This looks like a tough condition, and it kind of is on hole 15. Not much of an eagle chance, but you never know. We'll try our best. We'll send the first shot out to the fairway. It's going to be crosswind no matter what. There really is no angle, like you can often find sometimes on hole 15, that would make this one like a nice wind condition. It's just going to be crosswind and headwind no matter what. We'll club up to the 7. We'll aim it to there. Now let's see if we can put this one close. A little more than pin high power is what we'll need. Let's see if we can glide this one up there.
Nice shot.
And you never know. We can give that a shot. It's going to miss on the right side. It kicks a good ways to the right. We'll put it right on the cup, though. Ooh, someone made it. Who made that eagle? We have seen eagles on tough wind conditions on almost every single one of these holes. Zen sinks it for a fantastic eagle. You know, 15 miles an hour diagonal wind on this tough hole 15 pin that does not respond to spin very well. That's a fantastic shot from Zen. So Zen with a sensational eagle will push to 18 under par. That'll tie with me. I'm still 2 shots back of Zohan at 20 under through 15. Lloyd is 1 shot back of him. We'll move on to 16 and we'll see... Okay, this wind looks bad at first look, but you know it's actually kind of okay. Let's aim this one to there and send it through the trees. That's going to be what we'll do here. We'll put it through the trees to that little shortcut area. Right about there looks pretty good for the aim. Now, hopefully that makes it through that tree gap nicely. It looks like it will. We'll hit OB first, but that's totally fine. That'll just launch us to a stop in the rough up there. And we'll have a downwind shot. So that little secondary shortcut always gives you a nice downwind shot. And that one feels pretty good here. Let's see if we can send one up there and maybe steal an eagle on what's a pretty tough look. What do we have to do here? Let's aim this to about there, I want to say. And I think we'll try to go for that backspin. You know, spinning it all the way back isn't going to be super harmful here. So let's see if we can pull it off. Right about there for the aim. Let's see if we can sneak it around the pin and maybe sink one. Ooh, was that Zen right next to me sinking one? It was. Zen will make it. I'm going to sneak it around, zip it back, and that'll miss on the right side. Oh, it just bounced to the right a little bit. Zen sinks it, though, for a great eagle. I'll have about a 15-footer, and like I said, it really spun back on me, but that's kind of fine. It's a pretty straight putt. We'll just have to aim this a little bit out to the left, send it up there with about 1.5 of power. And that... Oh, no, I shorted it! Oh, I shorted the putt! How does that happen? That was a pretty straightforward one. Oh, man. That is not what you want to be doing. I've said the phrase, that is not what you want to be doing, too many times in this season so far. So a nice eagle from Zen will push him to 20 under par. That brutal par from me will drop me to 18 under par, or keep me at 18 under par, but drop me to 5th. Zohan will be at 21 under. We'll move on to hole 17. It looks like we'll have no wind. And a pin that is perhaps doable. So, you know, my score to beat is 20. We're still on pace to beat that given this wind condition. Let's see if we can send this one up there. And I think there's a chance to ace this one if we're in the proper tee position. I'm not sure if I am. That'll take a big kick and a couple bounces, and that looks really good. Oh, we'll lip it out. Oh, this has not been my game with these lip outs and these really close calls. The ones that I thought should be pretty good ended up just missing. That pretty tough putt on 16 is going to turn this into what might be a forgettable round, or will hopefully be a forgettable round by the end of this season. We see an ace from Zohan that'll push him to 23 under par. I actually didn't see it as it happened, but 23 under through 17, heading into oftentimes a more eagleable hole 18. That's a fantastic look. Are we going to have good wind on 18? That is so important. It looks like we'll have some wind that's totally fine. 2 miles an hour. Not bad at all here. A pin position that's not super accessible, but that's okay. It's just 2 mile an hour winds. My teammate is on pace to put up a fantastic score. If all goes well, at least a 25 under for my Treemeister teammate. It wasn't necessarily my game. Bunch of close calls that didn't quite make it. And that weird putt on hole 16 that ended up short. But that's all right. My teammate's playing well. Our team is going to be off to a good start. And we'll have plenty of rounds to make up for that. All right, I'm going to aim mine to there. We'll hit it with that much power. And let's see if we can maybe steal an albatross. You know, it never hurts to try to steal a stroke at the end of these games. That's going to end up... not ideal. It's going to kick right. Yeah, not even really close. We kind of have to put that on the second shelf off of the first bounce, allow that second bounce to go straight, and then roll it to the right down the hill. Just a bit short there. Not the easiest pin to albatross, but when you see light wind on hole 18, you know, it kind of makes you light up a little bit. Let's get the putt to the hole that time. We'll sink an eagle, and that'll push me to, I believe, 21 under par, which will allow me to beat my first score. We have a 21 on the board. That's not a bad score. Yeah, so 21 under par, solid round, not a ton of opportunities, a lot of close calls. Zohan did make the birdie there, and I feel like I announcers jinxed him a little bit, but a 24 under is nothing to be mad about. Solid round from Zohan, solid round from my teammate. That'll be a pretty good start to week 2. I mean, I beat my first score, which is fine. A lot of close calls, played pretty well. Tough look at hole 9 for that par. But we'll move on tomorrow to see if we can start beating our scores and improving our season score now that we have our baseline 3 rounds established. I hope you've enjoyed watching. We'll see you tomorrow.